So, hello everyone, and welcome to another spiritual podcast session with my friend Anil. And today also we are going to talk about. Recently, there has been a lot of articles and a lot of videos circulating on the internet about Diddy and what he has done in the past, which is coming out, and also how it is affecting people's spiritually and also the music industry, which I had channeled that question, and I was unable to share it publicly because there are some like YouTube is censoring this kind of topic. So if you want to watch the session, I have released it on a Patreon, but also for easiness to the viewers, I will also leave a transcript, and if possible, I'll leave a link. So you can check the description, but we are going to discuss about that session, and Anil will also add inputs in that regard. And without much further ado, before we begin, I would be grateful if all of you can just like this video, because this will help it to reach to other people who may need to awaken and know about this topic. And also, thank you for subscribing to the channel, because it helps us a lot, in our continuation of this work. And I welcome Anil to the podcast. Welcome, Anil.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be service to others in a very small way. Before we get into today's topic, I would like to remind everybody the purpose of this podcast is to raise the understanding and vibration of current human collective. I would encourage each entity to approach this topic with an open minds and hearts, seeking to understand the deeper spiritual truths and only accept those thought forms that resonate with your inner heart, leaving behind those that do not resonate with it. So, as Sam already mentioned, that we're going to talk about Sean Diddy's scandal. This gives me an opportunity to talk about another subject which is close to my heart because they are related. So Sam has suggested, as I said, that I discuss about Sean Diddy's scandal and his famous victim, Justin Bieber. Sam has done a private session with Ra on the subject, and I highly recommend each entity to listen to this incredible session or read the transcript, as Sam has mentioned. It will be in the description. This gives me an opportunity to discuss a related subject of victim consciousness, which is very close to my heart, which I wanted to share with you for a long time and looking for the right opportunity. I assume that each listener is aware of Diddy's scandal. Firstly, this is not an isolated event in the music industry. This kind of parties are commonplace in the elite society. You already know about Bohemian Grove parties, Epstein parties, Barack Obama and Hillary's Pizzagate parties, which are even more tragic, where young, the film Eyes Wide Shut and novel-like billionaire bankers give a glimpse of what goes on these party, a kind of STS parties. As we are getting near to the graduation end date, 21st December 2030, the catalysts are going to become more intense, and the division between STS and STO path will be more apparent, and we must choose which path we would like to follow. Regarding the so-called victim of these STS events, my heart goes out for especially children who are unable to protect themselves. The adults who attended this party with their free will choice must realize that they were equally responsible for either in their ignorance or their desire to become famous or else, and their vibration at the time attracted STS abuser entities as per law of attraction. Does this sound hard-hearted do you think it is hard-hearted to be part of a creation of this horrendous situation in the first place? The victim attitude is deeply ingrained within humanity as a whole. It shuts down the light of each child as soon as it is absorbed from the parental attitude. With the realization that victimhood is a falsehood and the idea to be released, the holographic pattern immediately begins to brighten. Use it as a mantra, especially when encountering situations that have in the past triggered what has been referred to as giving away your power. Means you agree to certain situation, acquiesce to it, for whatever reason. You did not say oppose it, you went along with it. So that you give your power. So if you have done it, rethink now again. Don't give up your power. Don't acquiesce. Things you don't like, you walk out. But if you do it, you don't blame others that later you didn't because you are party to it. Okay, it is as simple as that. You take a personal responsibility of your actions. Okay, that is in truth to put in a dozen places to remind you to let go of I am a victim and I need to be rescued consciousness. Remember that free will is a loose cannon of the third density, and the freedom of to choose is made by all, whether they admit it or not. Denial is not incurable until you give up. Patience combined with kind invitation to participate in the learning process eventually allow the victim to awaken, thus to be open to cure. The goal of each entity is, in the simple terms, is a transition from victim consciousness into self-empowerment, which will result in a rise of vibratory emanation of the self and the planet as a whole. The free will aspect is both the thorn and the blossom of the process. It is no longer survival of the fittest, but survival of the personally responsible. Victim consciousness is a epitome of the negative experience. It draws through the law of attraction like energy, or in other words, it draws situations that exploit that consciousness. In acquiring this understanding, it is then obvious that the very first step for each entity must achieve in order to transcend this mode of experience is to shed victim consciousness and regain the self-empowerment mode. Gently inform and encourage each entity to change their consciousness from victim to victor through the knowledge that thought has a power to change the manifested creation. Bondage is not a heritage of choice. It is giving up the basic framework of creation through the free will choice of victim experience that has allowed the situation to regress to its present level in every sphere of life at present. That too will change. With the acceptance of self and planetary responsibility, the mind will activate to the greater and greater degree to purposely impose the limited brain capacity which was held in place by victim consciousness. That in turn was held in place by the desire to be rescued by a source outside of the self and humanity as a whole. I mean, you can see that at present, people think Trump will rescue, or, half will think Kamala Harris will rescue. No, this is the 3D theater of top 3D theater of third density. Both Trump, Kamala Harris, or anybody for that matter is for supporting Israel for Gaza war, and they are now supporting war on Iran. Trump is already making an excuse that Iran wants to kill so that they get a clean sheet to create more war and create third world war, which is already started. So they are all up for the war, and they're not there to rescue. They want to keep in a victim consciousness. This is the victim consciousness, or Trump will rescue me, or Kamala Harris. I mean, you just a pick. They are all the same. So going back to the topic, so I'm just saying, you can see it and apply and think about that. This further provides an understanding for the weekly programming lessons, stressing the need to ask outside help in all areas of life, to, to turn over life to outside greater wisdom, and the media depiction of constant stream of victim situations. All this is carefully coordinated to keep the victim consciousness firmly anchored within the mass consciousness. So I think this is self-explanatory. As I told you, giving an example, you can deeply think about it and come to your own conclusion. It's your free will, as I already said. The age-old question of why does infinite creator allow this if he truly loves his beings arises to the minds of each of us over and over again. The answer is always the same: free will. If self-aware beings choose victim consciousness, the law of attraction will provide them with the fellow victim and abuser to maintain the experience. Purposefully withdrawing your fear and fascination for the evil situation, once you are aware of it, with the deliberate intent of doing so, is using the law of deliberate intent. You cannot do this by attempting to stop thinking about it. It is only possible to do this by substituting another thought on a completely different subject. Complicity involves believing the intent of those involved is for good of all. Perhaps now you can see the power of sympathy for the afflicted ones around the world. This supports the victim consciousness that is required, for it is complicity in disguise. Your sympathy will not solve their misery. Your deliberate choice to create a new experience will do that. Withdrawing your focus of attention and bringing it towards creating a new experience will bring the change about more quickly than repeatedly sending aid while considering them poor innocent victims. Again, I repeat myself, does this sound hard-hearted? Don't you think it is hard-hearted to be part of the creation of this horrendous situation in the first place? I leave you on this note in love and light and hope that you will ponder deeply on this very important issue. Sam, do you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, like Will mentioned that victim mindset, it actually is kind of a trap, and we also need to understand that whenever we enter this kind of mindset, what is happening is that we are giving power to something else or someone else, and we need to realize that we are the creators and we can create our reality. So that requires us to shift from that mindset into a more creator-like mindset, by letting go of that vibration. And if you have to forgive someone, just forgive, and then you can, from that higher level of vibration, you can create something that's better. So that's all I wanted to add to this. And also thank you, Anil, for sharing your thoughts in this. And also I want to say thank you to all the viewers for tuning in. We will see you in the next podcast. Until then, thank you so much.